As we tune into this moment of transformation and evolution and continuous expansion, as we feel our breath in motion, we honor. We honor our beingness for being here.
Hello and welcome to Cosmic Conversations, hosted through Conscious Awakening Network and Sheila Seppi. And tonight we are honored to have Syren Wind here with us. And so Psy is a quantum frequency, light, and sound multiversal facilitator whose services bridge, build, and weave sound, light, and geometry with consciousness, utilizing light as technology for integration, activation, expansion, and coherence. She works with galactic and celestial frequencies as intelligent, conscious language that communicates directly with the physical body, the subtle body, the systems, and biology through networks, systems, cellular memory, and DNA, while simultaneously shifting and expanding multidimensional and planetary fields. I'm so excited that you've agreed to join us and share with us. And I want to remind people who are watching that you can ask questions through the chat, and Sai will see those and we'll try to address all of your questions. Also, anyone who's watching this after, because there will be a replay. So anyone who watches this afterwards, the energy is the same. Whatever she shares with us, whatever transmissions are shared, the energy is the same, whether you are here conscious and present or not. So welcome, Sai. We're so excited that you came to share with us again.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here with you and everyone, and especially now with the energies we're in and what's coming next. So thank you so much.
Yeah. So you were going to talk to us about the new earth and light, and where do we start with that? Based on your experience. We could start with mine, but this is about you. So talk to us about how that looks for you.
Sure. Well, it's interesting you bring it, to light, so to speak, in that way. Is that where do we begin? Is we really began before light and before sound, before there was anything, there was there was thought and there was light. And the way that I perceive and the way that I actually work with light and sound is in that way that if there was a nothing, a blank sheet of paper or, an energy that was in homeostasis, if we want to create anything from nothing, it comes from what is that precise intention, or what is that function, or what is that purpose or reason we're doing that direction with the light and with the sound. And we can actually do as a technology, which light is, we can do anything. We can build, we can dissolve, we can open, open space, open, you could say doorways, portals, close, reconfigure, create geometry, configurations, change geometrical configurations, layer them. I mean, we can do so many things with light from nothing, but also from taking a something, whatever that energy is, and transforming it through the intention, through the light, and through the sound. And it's so effective because that light is innately is that. But when we give it a direction, then it becomes something different. So the sound is in a way, and kind of a pun in a way, a carrier wave. That wave is that vibration is what is harmonizing perhaps, or undulating through the matter that we're in and on through this earth, and even beyond that, multiversally. It continues eternally, whatever that is. So it's such a profound, we could say simplicity, but also the potentiality, because it really could and is anything and can be that. So what's next? Like New Earth, we're saying New Earth. Really what most of us here now, we're here in the before creation or as things were created to implement what was originally spoken and intended to be so in purity and right order. So that's where we're getting to now.
So how are you using that in your work? You mentioned that you travel, that you've been traveling a lot. How are you using that? I mean, I ask you that specifically just to see what you're doing, because there are people who are saying, "Oh, I'm traveling the world and I'm reconfiguring Earth grids and stargates," and there's so many ways in the language to put what it is that we do, and we're interested in how that looks for you.
Sure. Well, even the conscious awareness of what it is specifically that I'm doing is much beyond even that through the layers, say grid work and sound. I am, singing and toning through the vibration of my being. So that configuration is stabilizing, for example, and then when directed a certain way through the traveling on those lines and ley lines is harmonizing, and it's also bringing through my own unique codes and tones and intentions with, say, it's an area with lots of trauma or morphogenetic field, water, a lot of water clearing, memory, old traumas and things from layers, just layers of time and timelines of things that were embedded in sediment, embedded in crystal sediment, have echoed through people that live there, things that have looped through, so to speak, that have continued to cycle through that need to be and have been clearing out. I love that. uh, that have been clearing out, which need to clear out to make space for what's next, to hold the purity of light, which is what we're doing now, is to actually anchor and hold that within ourselves. So when I'm traveling, for example, that's the actual travel pathway, and the, say the lines, the ley lines, the airplane, all of the things is tuning into what is going on here, what is expressing, what's ready to go, needing change, transformation in some kind of way, acceleration, activation. In addition to that, conferences where it's group events that are offering certain tones and frequencies to activate our dormancies. We all have ancient wisdom and our own unique codes everywhere we are right now, multidimensionally, but also where, all the things that we're working on, we may or may not know about. So as we activate through these sounds and tones, our different dormancies, our awarenesses, our remembrances, that helps each one of us on our own paths on the grid, working on whatever we're working on too. So most recently, that's a vast majority of it.
So when you travel, are you working with just your vocal cords, just your, well, and the frequencies that you emit, of course, and you are also a transmitter of the language of light. And so, are you just doing that vocally, transmitting it using your hands? Are you also using sound tools, physical tools like bowls or tingshaws or gongs? Or do you strictly focus on what you are bringing on your own sovereign frequencies?
That's a wonderful question. My instrument, the way I perceive it and look at it is my instrument is my resonant chamber, which is my biological and encoded vessel. So, and the way that I actually use moment to moment really is how I'm tuning my vessel, and what frequency I'm tuned into is what I'm bringing through. And that range of tones, codes, and we could say array, because many times it's an array of varying frequencies of different velocities that I will tune and bring into my coding so it amplifies that even further. So it's very much myself as my instrument using my voice, but I bring my voice all the way through, like even to where it undulates into my toes. It's the whole it's the whole resonant chamber, because it is very biological for me. And the way that I undulate it even through my body is much different, and through, through the ears and through the head and through the hands, and work with the light with my hands to further amplify and transform, and bring that every ounce of my light vehicle, my vehicle of travel. I'm utilizing all of myself. So,
Are you also an artist? Or are you just drawing the frequencies?
well, I've been actually drawing since I was told since I was like an infant, and I would sit for hours, like hours and hours, and draw geometries. But I was also drawing what I was seeing in the shapes of what I could see in the energy. Like I would make sounds and I could see the shapes. So artistically, it was also like parallel much to the energy, because I could see, as like if I would laugh, I could see a shape. So I would elongate that sound, feeling the sound, exploring the sound, and also exploring the shape, watching the color change. And then I would draw it and see how, as I was drawing it, that was changing something else. So it was this fascination of um, nothing into anything, and blank sheets of paper, but also no thoughts into what shape does that make? And if I layer this, what does that do? And how, if I visualize it differently, I can create something else. So, to me, it's like there's no there's no blurred edge or differential between the art and the light and the sound and the color. It all feels like creation, and it's all fascination to me, because we really can do anything.
Right. I was looking at your website and you're offering essential oils, you're offering body wear, you know, hats and t-shirts, and you have MP3s that you're offering, and I believe that you're also offering some courses, aren't you? Are you offering?
Yes.
Okay. So what kind of courses are you offering?
Well, one of the main ones is activating your ancient soul language, because we all do have a soul language. And many times we refer to it as light language, and it is that, but it's also very unique to each soul. So it may sound different, but with the frequency and the tone, we can understand each other through the resonance. So to me, in this transformational juncture, that's really important for people to remember their soul language, and they can do so very swiftly through frequency. Actually, is a lot of it is through awakening the dormancies, and remembering what we already know, and how to implement that into uh, who each one of us are. And that's one of the basic main ones, because that's very important, but it also goes hand in hand with awakening our telepathic nature, which is also, it's innate, and it's not really like this multi stepped way of remembrance. We can actually activate that simultaneously through sound, through tone, and through light, because again, it's function, it's a technology, and it's something that within our soul essence we really do know.
That the art on your website is just amazing. And I
Thank
understand you also have a book because I found an Amazon link for you. So talk to us
you.
about your book. I found everything.
I'm glad you did. I thank you for asking. I try to keep everything all together on one site because there is a lot of different tools so that people can utilize them. Certain things are, more beneficial to others than they are, on different layers of the journey. And I actually have 7 books. And the origination point, so to speak, was watercolor, very, very similar to what you see behind me. It was watercolor layered geometry and light that inspired a poetry that's very dynamically activating through the word and the tone and the way that I would layer and harmonically use the words, but also layer it and pair it with the art. So I was writing poetry as I was doing the artwork, and that actually continued on to inspire different themed books that activate light language. People have remembered, other lifetimes from seeing the books or light code. They've recognized light code within the books that they've written and not understood, like, well, where does this come from? How come this looks like that? And what does this mean? So, very specifically, each one is very different. And they have, varying summaries. But with that, people are drawn to certain ones at different junctures of their journey, and they find, perhaps it's utilized as a journal, or they'll draw over certain images, they'll layer images over it, so it's interactive. And there's even number sequence blank pages where the mind and the body and the energy can reset in between seeing, say, the word, the art, the code, but they're very specifically layered that way so that it's working with the different systems of the body, and also the things that we know that we don't know that we do know. So it's very precisely layered that way, but they're all very uniquely different for that purpose, because somebody will be drawn to something different at different times.
And they perceive it different. I mean, that's been my experience is that I used to teach a course, and there was an exercise in the course where I would give people a list of, we're going to say 5 words. I think it was 10, but we're going to say 5. So I would give them a list of 5 words, very generic words like love, happiness, marriage, money. They were very common words that everybody used. And the exercise was that everyone had to write their description or their knowing of what that word was energetically. How did it affect them? How did they use it in their everyday life? And if I had 25 people there, 20 of them had different descriptions for that word. And for me, it's the same with the language of light, whether it's art or written or spoken. People are going to take, they're going to align with whatever frequencies they need. It's like getting food, you know. They're going to take whatever they need from that frequency, and that's what's so amazing about light language art. Color has its own frequency as well, right? And so
Mhm.
people are going to get something different, or different people are going to get something from your art and even your books. I mean, you know, our books are encoded with frequencies. There are words there that people can read if they want to, but they don't really have to read the words. The book is encoded with frequencies, and they're going to receive that in whatever way they need to receive it. So I was also remembering that you were a presenter at 2 of the conferences that I hosted, Conscious Awakening Network summits. And so if people want to look back on that, you can still purchase the replay. So you were a speaker in our Light Language Awakening conference, and also the Woven in Light conference. So those were fun to do for me. I'm still doing those different ones,
Oh,
but yeah, they're fun to do. And they're all listed on Conscious Awakening Network. So, as well as replays of all of the cosmic conversations. So, you guys, whether you're listening in person or getting the replay, go back and check out some of those because haven't you been haven't you been a guest at other of the cosmic conversations?
I believe this is my first one,
Is
actually.
it?
Yeah.
I was thinking that I
Thanks.
saw your name when Glenda was host. I thought that I had seen your name on some of her podcasts, so maybe it was somewhere else that I saw you.
Okay. Yeah. And I
But
believe this is my first cosmic conversation.
well, it won't be the last. We have them every week, and you can come back and share with us again. Do you want to share um, a light language transmission, or is there anything else that you want to share?
Oh, sure. I can certainly do that. I think that's also just to parallel what you just said about books, words, and light language is that to me, I view everything as a light language transmission. So even our talk, whatever's received and exchanged here is still, it's in the field of possibility for somebody to receive a multitude as they journey on. So, it's ever continuous. So I would love to offer something like that and see how that's received. Do you have an intention in mind, an energy, a request?
I don't, and I haven't seen any questions from anybody. You guys must be getting everything that you need. You don't have any questions. Um, I usually find that, and you do it as well. Maybe I just need to remind everybody else who's listening, but we are tied into the frequency of the listeners, past, present, and future, right? And so I know that whatever you share is going to be exactly what people need. And I'm never turning down light language. So,
I agree. I agree. It's so beneficial for everything. It really is. So,
yeah.
okay, that sounds wonderful. Let me just going to change my sound settings to make sure that you can hear me appropriately here. There we go. Okay. As we tune into this moment, of transformation and evolution and continuous expansion, as we feel our breath in motion, we honor. We honor our beingness for being here at this time. And much is changing, evolving swiftly. And so this transmission is to assist in soul harmony, centering, homeostasis, stability through these changes, these shifts, these lifts, these recalibrations. And in this moment, Feel your breath through your whole body. Breathing all the way through your feet, into your shins, breathing up, breathing the nourishment from Gaia into your trunk, your central pillar, your core, into your centerness, your still breath, feeling sound, feeling the soundness and being sound through these changes, stable, unified, innately knowing, trusting, being light. Feeling the flow through your heart, knowing everything you need is right here. Usikai soni nai o ngai ai o ngai o mai ai o ngai a. O ngi hai o mai hai a kai o ni hai o ngi hai a kai o ki a ki toi. O ngi hai a ni ho mai hai a ngai a nai o ngai o hi. Ai o hi, ai o hi. Ai o o ngai ai ngō i a si ngō ai a pai o ngai i. Ai o hi ngai i a ngai ai a kai ai hi ngai o. Hey. Tushoangi haya paya kayo kinai hoshaya kaya ni hong ai hong hong ai Bring your breath through your head into your pillar. Breathing the stardust of your soul, satiated, singing the heartbeat and harmonics of the cosmos, cohesive, flow, coherent, prismatically permeating presence through your trusting, all-knowing awareness and your luminescence. Bring your breath all the way into your feet, into stability, rocking your heels and opening your eyes. Welcome back.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'd love to know if anyone has any questions. Have you all experienced light language before in other ways? Are any of you currently transmitting light language? Can you put that in the chat and let us know?
I love the emojis.
Yeah, lots of thumbs up and hearts. And we did have one person who had his hand up, but he's not here anymore. So I'm not sure why he had his hand up.
Okay.
But I recognize a couple of the names here. And again, I would love to know what all of your response is other than the thumbs up and the hearts. So Susan says she just began doing light language.
Beautiful.
Do you have any questions, Susan? Would you like to ask some questions?
Beautiful. You're welcome. You're most welcome.
Is there anybody else who's currently transmitting light language? So the way that I met Sai is that I invited her to be a presenter on a light language conference. Oh, SY. It's Syren, I
Yes.
believe, SYREN, isn't it?
Yes. Well, and actually, when you see the books too, my name, my technical name is Syren, but I go by Sai most of the time. And either way is fine, but you would say Sai if you were shortening it. So yes, yeah, just SY. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Well,
But
you go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, I love that how we met because more and more people are awakening to their light language and speaking it, and also learning how to actually like consciously utilize it. Because sometimes when it does come, or when it first comes, there's not a total awareness of what is this that I'm writing or drawing or speaking, or say it's the mudra, the hand movements. What is exactly happening? So that's one of the reasons that I started to create the books is it helps to actually integrate it physically where when we hear it, we speak it, we can, draw it, write it, tone it. All the layers of us in our physical body help to really comprehend our multidimensionality. Stacy says, I get the light language in dreams, some subconscious belief blocking. Like you see the symbols in dreams? Is that what you mean? Oh, there she is.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Okay. There she
I
is.
cannot type fast, so that this is so much quicker. No, I'm I'm speaking it in my dreams, just not like I think there's that, just that not confidence, or you think you're like out of your mind, like to actually start bringing it into this reality.
Right. Yeah, it's always fascinating where it comes and how it comes, and then into the layers of the transition of bringing it into this reality, or in what way, in what way we're doing that. And that's what's beautiful when it comes subconsciously, like say in the dream state, is that it's who knows how many layers of that is actually taking place, and then you bring it into here, or here. The more you hear it, the more you perhaps see geometries. You might even see it in the light, say see symbols in the light, or in the dew even. You can start to perceive it the more that you recognize it, acknowledge it, even if it's not necessarily comfortable to utilize it, say, in public, or, tell all your friends yet, or something like that. But, it's in waves and stages, and then it unfolds. It unfolds like a flower more and more, right?
That
Yeah,
is
the more that you connect to it, the more that you connect to it, and my perception about why you're seeing it in your dreams is because in our dreams we don't stop to question. Our egoic mind is not involved in our dreams, and so we don't block it, we don't question it. It's free to just to connect with us and to resonate, as Sai says. It's connect to resonate with us. I mean, it's free to resonate with us. And so there are so many things that happens, and I just called it our sleep time, not so much our dream time, but because we are free of the human body, we're free of egoic fears and perceptions, and lots of things happen in the dreams. And yeah, the more that you allow that to come to fruition, I mean, take a pen and paper and just allow the symbols to, or the drawings, do colors, because colors are also light language. There's light language embedded in the colors, because light language is frequencies, codes of information, downloads, alignments, right? And so just pick up some colors and begin to paint or tone and sing. But the more that you use it, the more that you become connected to it, like Sai said.
if I could pick your beautiful lady's brain for one more thing, because it just popped into my head. I know our voices are very important, and toning is a great thing. I hate my voice.
You have a
Well,
beautiful
that's
voice.
Like, like obviously I should work on the healing of that, but any direction on getting rid of that you don't like your own voice?
well, I mean, I'm sure that we both offer programs to help you with that. But but it's working with your belief systems, with your, sometimes it is past experience, what I call bleed overs. Sometimes it is in another of your experiences. They say past lives, but it's just another of your experiences, your parallel lives. But a lot of times something occurred in that life experience that has bled over into this one and is causing distortions and disconnections. And, there are ways to work with that. Not here, not right now in the few minutes that we have, but there are ways to work with that. You can work with it through hypnosis, you can work with it through affirmations. The simplest way is just to begin to sit, breathe, and begin to allow your body to create tones and sounds, and just become comfortable with that and let it grow.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Love you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, does anybody else, let me, uh, okay. Does anybody else have a question? What about Susan? Oh, there are two Susans here.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much information out there right now on the language of light. Um, I mean, there are so many books, there are so many podcasts, there's so much artwork, so many events. I mean, I host light language retreats, and I have mentor programs, and I've published 4 books on light language as well. And so there's just so much information out there. It's just a matter of finding someone that you resonate with, and there are, what do they call meetups? If you're not familiar, there are meetups just for light language groups and Facebook groups. I mean, there are so many options out there for all of you if what you're trying to do is reconnect with your memory of the original language, which is the language of light. And so I encourage all of you to do that. Not so much to hang a shingle, but for your own for your own spiritual growth and expansion. There's so much that's happened to me personally since I awakened to the language of light. I mean, everything has just exploded for me. And when did you physically and consciously connect Sai to the language of light?
Well, I realized when I was small that I was seeing symbols in the light. Like, and I was in a Catholic grade school and I had a, workbook with Mary and who they call Jesus. But I would draw in the halo, I would draw symbols. I would draw symbols in Mary's halo because that's how I saw it. And and I would see that in the light or see that in, any light, would see different symbols, but I didn't quite know to what extent at that time what I was necessarily calling that or seeing that or how I was using that. But I knew that what I knew was what I knew and know.
Yeah.
Like there was no question and there was no wavering about it. And then later, later years, probably later, all of a sudden I was driving and I just started speaking light language, like it just flooded in out of nowhere, and I didn't quite even understand. I knew there was a correlation between the symbols that I could see and what I was speaking, but I didn't exactly have an articulation of what was going on. But I was already drawing it and seeing it. So it does really come in those waves where we all have so much ancient information, and really it's the layers and the unlayers. Say as we're dissolving something, we're opening something. As we're dissolving something, we're opening something. And as we're opening the next field, more of our own self can shine through where we can see that and comprehend it and then also integrate it into where we are. And then I realized that correlation was also in the sounds and the colors and the shapes I was seeing. I'm like, it's all the same, a different variation, a different expression of the light that I was seeing. But once you actually come to those realizations, even in play as a kid, playing with, I was laughing and I was playing with the shapes of the sounds. And I was fascinated at the sound of my voice making a different shape. So we can really have fun with it without getting expectational when we're first learning or opening our own self to our own self. We can, like say, exploring our voice. We can just explore our voice without an end result in mind, but explore and see what does that feel like through our body. What does that feel like? Does that look like something? Can we see some symbols out of maybe a tone? I mean, there's so much possibility if we allow ourselves to express undefined and see what happens next. Because we'll discover all kinds of things we might not realize about ourselves. So, yeah.
Exactly. Um, so Susan said just keep healing and using it. She didn't like her voice in the beginning either. And then she says, I find that I'm being connected to more people who do light language. So you all are activating me more and helping me to remember more. So we do tend to be the humans have to find words and names for everything. So we do find that we're keys for one another sometimes, the resonance, right? That our frequencies just become aligned with one another and we begin to activate each other, not only in light language, but through a lot of things. Like how many times have you been around somebody, and you just begin to feel better, or you begin to feel worse, you know, because you are, yeah, you're in training with their frequencies. So
Right.
Susan has a question for you, Sai.
How can I discern if what I am speaking is ego influenced or heart centered in light language? Well, I feel like everything, like all the answers of say what something is, or what what it is specifically, or how it's connected, perhaps what energy is. through the heart. So what does it like if there's a question there, if there's a question, the answer is in the question. So if you're wondering that, just check in, feel into your heart. Because that's where you'll know by tuning into your own self if something really is resonating with your soul or if it feels like perhaps something else. And what I would say in that extent may be like external, more external. Like something that needs to feel like it needs to be created, perhaps. But if you're in flow and you're intentional with your heart, things just are, right? And you'll know by what they feel like if it's true, if it's pure, if it's correct for you by what it feels like. So if there's any unwavering about anything, or if there's any need to ask the question, sometimes in that question asking is the doubt. And that might mean that's the don't, meaning that it might not be in true total alignment, perhaps. So discerning, further fine tuning, we'll find ways to tune more finely fine tune, if that makes sense. um, More finely fine tune so that what you are flowing with and flowing as is your heart expression, that there is no creation for validation's sake or to have it be a certain thing. It just innately is yourself expressing authentically.
And also just to remind you that this is our first language, right?
Right.
It's our first language. And so you can't fake a first language. Um, you can mimic what other people are doing sometimes, but you can't really fake what is yours. You just have to become more comfortable with it. I mean, whatever language you speak, for instance, whether it's English, Spanish, German, French, you can, whenever you're speaking to a crowd or whenever you're speaking to even a single person, sometimes there are doubts that come up. When you're talking, sometimes there's that doubt that comes in. Do I really know what I'm talking about? Right? Am I saying the right words? How is that different from the language of light, really? You have to trust that you are receiving and that you're transmitting what you're transmitting, and for me, the way that I put that into perspective was that I noticed that I couldn't recreate a transmission. There was a specific instance where I like to go out at night and talk to the stars, and if light language begins to flow, then it does. And there was this one night that the particular, we're going to call it dialect because we have to name things. The particular dialect was very slow and methodical, and it was different from what I would normally sound like to myself. And I thought, this is cool. This is a different one. I like this one. And I wanted to record it and send it to my friend who lives in Wales. And I didn't have my phone. So I went back in the house. I got my telephone, came back out to recreate the situation, the atmosphere. I thought that was important. And so I hit record on my telephone and crickets. Nothing happened. I could not recreate that particular dialect or that particular frequency. I could not recreate it. And I've done that other times, when a song would come through, a song that I'm like, oh my goodness, this really touches my heart. I want to share this. If I'm not recording and it doesn't, that's it. That's the end of it. That was the frequency that was required at that particular moment for that person, place, or thing. And so, Susan, if you find that you can't recreate it, then have confidence that you are in the moment, that you are transmitting what you're supposed to transmit, and that it is correct and true. You know, I have gauges sometimes.
Right. That's
Like
beautiful.
I am there are people who are clairvoyant. I'm claircognizant, where I just know what I know. And I had to learn to trust that I just know what I know. And so I made a rule with my higher awareness that um, as I was receiving information and sharing it, that there would be a word in that transmission, the verbal transmission, that I didn't know what it meant, that I'd never heard it before, never used it in a normal conversation. And so now the universe has a lot of fun with me because when I'm speaking to crowds or even giving a reading for someone, uh, this word will come out of my mouth and I'll have to stop and go, I'm sorry, but I have no idea what that word is or what it means. But that is my check and balance. It's my check and balance that I'm really receiving information not from my egoic self, but from a higher version of me. And so, Susan, just find your own checks and balances.
Yes. Yes.
Does it, how about any, oh, do you have, let's see, any last questions for Cy? Any comments? There's a heart.
I
Any
love the heart.
comments for her?
Thank you. Hearts to
I do,
everyone.
yeah, I do encourage all of you to reach out to her. And you might copy off the links that I put there in the chat, the links for her, copy those off because once we end this recording, I don't know that they'll be on the replay. I don't know if the chat is on the replay. So be sure and copy those off for yourself so that you can get in touch with her.
Yeah, there's a lot of frequencies on the YouTube also that help with these different accelerations, especially opening to our light language. So, I encourage people to explore there if they're opening up to that. You're most welcome, Susan. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Yeah. So if you don't have any questions, I guess we're going to close. I don't see any links. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can. They're up at the very top. So let me re-copy those. Oh, that didn't work. Hold on a second.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Always trust and know that whatever moment you're in, whatever's unfolding is exactly right for you, and trust yourself. I feel like a lot of people in these accelerations are learning to trust themselves more, which is really important. Trust that you're on the path that you need for what's next by being present right here.
Yeah. Um, hmm. Zoom is giving me. There you are. Giving me trouble here. So
I-
everybody, please copy those off before we lose them.
Thank you.
And yeah. So do you have any last sharings for us, Cy, before I close this out?
Well, I guess I sort of already started to some extent, is that we really are opening our own flowers in that way that we're blooming now into really fully remembering who we are. And so whatever it is that we're being drawn to or are currently exploring or feel resonance with, whether it's a frequency, a person, a place, a trip, to explore, say to a conference, whatever it is, to trust that and know that there's information there, which is energy, and allow yourselves to shift through the energies without attachment to what something needs to look like, so that you're open to what's in your highest alignment, because it might not be what you thought, and it usually is. I'll say 100 times out of 100 it's way bigger than you think it is. So so be completely open to allow that to arrive. So
It's perfect. It is perfect advice.
Thank you. Thank
So I
you.
want to thank everyone for joining us today for Cosmic Conversations here on Cosmic Awakening Network. And I want to thank Sai for all that you've shared with us. I hope that something that we shared today resonates with all of you, your body, your mind, your heart, your inner knowing, and not just as information, but as remembrance, as frequencies. And if you'd like to continue your journey with CAN, I invite you to explore our upcoming summits for which I am the host. Our free webinars, we just had a free webinar, and our next one is May the 2nd, I believe. It's a free one. And all of that information is on Conscious Awakening Network. And also enjoy the transformational programming created to support your awakening and embodiment. And if you feel called to deepen your connection through energetic alignment and multidimensional support, I warmly invite you to join on Monday nights, the Monday night transmissions with Sheila Seppi, who's our founder. And you can learn more about her at sheilaseppi.com. So also, our next guest next Tuesday is Luke Blue Eagle. And I'm excited to bring him on as well. He's also been a presenter at our summits. He's a Mete shaman from Canada. And so, again, just thank you for being who you are. I ask you to just stay open, stay sovereign, and keep listening to the wisdom within. I'm Patricia Walls, and it's been my pleasure to host Sai and to connect with all of you. And I hope to see you next week.
Sounds beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Patricia. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.